I have always maintained a pretty high mileage, particularly as a 50-plus-year-old runner. Before London 2022, there were 7 weeks that I averaged over 100 miles per week. And before Chicago 2023, there were also 5 weeks that I averaged over 100 miles as well. I would like to talk about, as a senior runner, over 50 years old, some of the tips, some of the tricks that I'm using to minimize the chance of injury. When I started running in my mid-30s, I used to think I'm invincible. I don't get injured. I can just run miles and miles, and that would be okay. Well, as I head into 40s, I'm starting to get some injuries. But not too bad. When I was approaching 50s, things started to get really downhill. I have extended period of time of getting injured. And there are a lot of things that I've been doing to try not to have that again. One of the most important things that I think is running on soft surface. And that's why my long run, I look for miles and miles of dirt. In 2020, I was getting really fit, was thinking about going for sub 3 in London, April 2020. Obviously, when the pandemic happens, we all wouldn't have a race to run. I keep my training up, but because of working from home, I don't get to run near the dirt trail near my office that much. So just run outside my house on hard surface all the time. Late 2020 and early 2021, I got really injured. So right now, running on dirt or soft surface is a must. Running on treadmill is also okay. It is certainly softer than cement or asphalt. So I do a lot of my runs on my treadmill as well. Warm-up is very important. I'll start with some standing knee hugs. A little back stretches on the floor. Glute activation with the resistance band. Some people call this the monster walk. Or dynamic stretches, opening the door and also closing the doors. Some more dynamic stretches on the hips, knees, legs, quad pulls, a little of rotation of the ankles and the knees. Leg kicks, both in the forward direction and in the backward direction. And obviously the side-to-side kicks as well. And before any key workouts and my long run, I also spend 5-6 minutes on my stationary bike. Just want to make sure I am thoroughly warmed up. Before any hard workouts, or just maybe running outside on the road, I usually like to do my running drills. Doing running drills doesn't just help us warm up better, but can also help us improve our running form, leading to less injuries. These are just some of the drills that many serious runners work on very regularly. Alright, after every run, usually in the evening, I would do my compression with Normatec. Maybe for an hour, maybe a little longer. This is the high-tech compression device. A little pricey, but if you can afford it, it does help us to recover our muscle pain, ready for the workout tomorrow. I usually like to wear my compression sleeves after a hard workout. It will help me to recover faster, as well as my ankle brace, because after a hard workout, there may be a chance that my muscles may need some time to recover. There will be a time that I might be prone to injuries. So wearing them allow me to also prevent injuring myself just by walking or by working out or just doing household chores. So I usually wear them after a hard workout. I have had plantar fasciitis maybe about 3 times in the last 12 years. And wearing the boots at night in my sleep is one of the ways to help me recover and overcome plantar fasciitis. I use my massage gun very often. Often after a workout, after a hard workout, help me feel better, but also before the workout, and it will help me loosen my muscle and be more ready for my workout. A few years ago, I learned how to do foam rolling, and I got myself this electric foam roller, Viper 2.0. After every hard workout, I'll use it for about 5 to 10 minutes on various groups of muscles. My quad, my hamstring, my hip. It definitely does help me to recover faster. I also do have my regular foam roller that I use very often, and when I don't have enough time to take the electric foam roller out of the box, I'll just use this regular one and start rolling. About 4 to 5 times a week, I'll do my cross training. I like to use the program called Body Pump. We start with some deadlifts. The whole program takes about 1 hour, but I will skip some of the legs workouts because I already run so much. So for me, it takes about 40 minutes. Some shoulder and back pulls. This program is pretty good for runners because it emphasizes high repetitions and, for me, lower weights. We'll also do some very important squats and also lunges. Biceps, chest, and some push-ups. I'll also spend about 20 minutes on abs, and I like to use the program called Abs of Steel. You might have heard many times from experienced runners saying the core is very important for running. And I can say that it is very true. With a very strong core, it takes less energy to run. And sometimes I will bike on my stationary bike for not just the warm-up, but also for cross-training. When I was injured in 2021, I often spent more than an hour on the bike. One thing that I am pretty religious about is rotating shoes. And I separate my shoes between outdoor runs and indoor runs on my treadmill. And currently, for running any of my races, and I'm wearing the Alphafly 1, the original version of Alphafly. I loaded up on many pairs before they started with the Alphafly version 2, just because Alphafly 1 is much better than Alphafly 2. This is my current pair. It's orange in color. I also had yellow and blue and black sometimes in the past. Next, let's take a look at my outdoor long run shoes. So after Chicago, I'm starting with the Adidas Prime X2 Strunk. This pair of shoes have very high stack height, something like 50 mm, very comfortable, very high cushioning, perfect for long run workout. Before Chicago, I've been wearing the Adidas Adios Pro 3. You can actually use these in races. They are very good shoes. They are perfectly okay for racing. Next, let's take a look at my Speedwork Tempo Run shoes. First, I usually use older pair of Alphafly. After I have enough racing on the shoes, I would just use them for my Speedwork. This is an older pair of Alphafly 1 that I've been using them as tempo run shoes for now. But I also like to wear the Asics Metaspeed Sky Plus as well as the Metaspeed Edge Plus. Both of them are really nice shoes. I like to wear them in my hard workouts. For my outdoor easy run, I usually wear my Adidas Boston 12. They are much better upgrades from the Boston 10. But for even shorter easy runs, sometimes I will wear the Nike Pegasus 38. There is a big difference, I can feel it. From the cushioning, Pegasus 38 has relatively less cushioning, so you feel the road more, but you also feel more impact from the ground. Alright, now on to my indoor shoes that I use to run on my treadmill. First, when I do my harder workouts, whether they are speed work, intervals, tempo runs, or longer, harder efforts, I usually like to wear my Nike Vaporfly Next Percent 2. These are the shoes that I got pretty good discount. They are pretty cheap, so I use them on my treadmill. One of the reasons is that they don't last very long when you use them outdoor. The sole will just break down pretty fast outdoor, but on my treadmill, they surprisingly can last for quite a while. So I'm just using them for my treadmill runs, and I can usually get up to 300-400 miles instead of just about 200 miles outdoors. Last but not least, when I do my easy runs on the treadmill, I just wear any old pair of shoes that I, have run a few hundred miles on. So got two pairs right now. On the right hand side, the blue is a pair of Nike Vaporfly Next Percent 2. I think I got about 300-400 miles on them already. And on the left hand side, I got another pair of yellow Alphafly 1. Probably have 400 plus miles on them already. And so I just use the old shoes for my easy run on the treadmill. And with the workout, I would like to get a protein drink. This is whey protein. After every weight training ab session, I'll get a big glass. This is the whey protein I got from GNC. There are a lot of other brands, and I think most of them are very similar. I am not sponsored. I pay for this myself. Not an ad, but I found it pretty useful. To keep my joints healthy, I also like to take supplements like glucosamine and some other joints supplements. In fact, a few weeks ago I started to feel a little right knee soreness, and after taking these supplements with a lot of stretches, icing, massages, now I'm feeling okay.